that my dad bought after working 2 full-time jobs as a janitor, saved up his nickels and dimes, and bought a house in South Central Los Angeles, which for us was up now.
What happened here?
Now worth six. Can you still hear me?
Okay, the signal cut out for a moment there, Larry. So you're talking about your dad's house. Go ahead.
Yeah. My father's house is now worth $600,000. And since my sister-in-law owned the house together, it's wonderful for us, but it's impossible for anybody with an 8th grade education, a dropout like my dad, to work 3 jobs and come up with the down payment and be able to buy a house that costs $600,000. And on my dad's salary, my mom was a stay-at-home mom raising 3 boys until the youngest of us, Dennis, was in middle school. That route is absolutely impossible because of the high housing costs that young people now face because of the anti-growth environmental extremism that's taken over this state for the last 30, 40 years.
My God, the list is so damning. People are voting to hurt themselves. Is that the message, in a sense, that you will be delivering?
That's right. People are leaving Texas, leaving to go into Texas, and Texans I talk to say, why are people bringing their left-wing politics with them? And that's because, Dennis, they don't see the connection between what's going on in Sacramento and rising crime. They don't see the connection between what's going on in Sacramento and the rising cost of housing. They don't see the connection. All they know is it's bad, I'm getting out here, and they haven't put it together. And it's not because they're stupid, Dennis. They're making a living. They're trying to put food on the table, trying to get that first house. They don't have time to read everything and connect all the dots. That's our job. That's my job. And we have to explain it in ways they can understand so that if they leave, they don't take their left-wing politics with them, but more importantly, that they don't leave, so they'll be able to make a living here in California the way my dad did when he came here back in 1945.
Given that the media are essentially servants of the Democratic Party, how will you get your message out?
Interesting you say that. I just had an interview with a gentleman, you'd know his name, a longtime political analyst here, and I got on him about how unfair the media are. I told him, here I am, born and raised in Los Angeles. L.A. Times is, of course, the major newspaper in the state of California. I've written 6 books. The L.A. Times has not reviewed any of them. I mean, any of them. 2 of them made the L.A. Times bestseller list, and they still didn't review me about any of them. I did the movie Uncle Tom that came out on Juneteenth last year. It made more money than the 5 best documentaries nominated for this current year Oscar combined. It had a higher IMDb rating than any of the 5 that were nominated. I could not get arrested. We hired a consultant to interact with the Academy to hopefully get the film at least looked at to be nominated. They wouldn't even touch it because it's the wrong message. And so I got on him about this, and I said, how do you expect anybody like me to win an election when you guys are unfair? It is why Democrats outnumber Republicans 3-1 in California. It's not because Republicans have bad ideas. It's because people don't know what the ideas are because the L.A. Times has shut them out. Is there a conservative member of the L.A. Times editorial board, let alone a conservative member who is a, quote, person of color? Hell no. Do they have a single local conservative writer? Hell no. And this is why so many people don't understand the principles of limited government, the principles of low taxes, the principles of light regulation, and they don't know what the hell is going on with our public education, where 75% of black kids in California, Dennis, cannot read at state levels of proficiency. Nearly 50% of all kids cannot who are in K through 12. The people that know the school system the best are the teachers, and the teachers are twice as likely, if they have school-age kids, to put their own kids in private school. It's like they opened up a restaurant, hung up a sign, and said, come on in, just don't eat the food.
Was this, if I may ask, was this person from the L.A. Times?
This person was from the L.A. Times.
Yeah, because there's a person from the L.A. Times who's interviewing me after the show with regard to you, so I assume it's similar. What, did he or she have a response?
No, didn't have a response. And I'll tell you something else that happened. This happened with a couple of interviews I've had so far. What about the Trump factor, I'm asked? Because, of course, Gavin Newsom wants to turn this into Gavin Newsom versus Trump crazies.
Right.
And Gavin Newsom's people says, well, this is all about white nationalists. Well, Dennis, you know me for almost 40 years. I think the last thing I am is a white nationalist. And that's what these guys do. And they asked me, well, weren't you an enthusiastic supporter of Trump? I said, I'm a Republican. I haven't voted for a Democrat since Jimmy Carter, and I regretted that. voted for him because he pardoned Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon, and that bothered me in my youth and my naivete. But I wouldn't do that again. I said I'm going to vote for the Republican nominee, whoever he or she is. Well, what happens if Trump is the nominee in 2024? I repeat, I'm going to vote for the Republican nominee, whoever he or she is, in 2024. Aren't you a Democrat? Don't you vote for Democrat nominees? Why is this surprising? I said to him.
God, are you articulate? It's painful. No.
It's painful. It really is, Dennis.
No, you're right. It's unfortunately the word. By the way, will there be any debates?
Are you kidding? Gavin Newsom wouldn't debate me on a bet. I remember when William F. Buckley ended his firing line show, Dennis, after 33 years, and someone asked him why Ted Kennedy, despite numerous invitations, never came on the show. And Buckley said, why does the bologna avoid the grinder? This guy is not going to debate me. And Dennis, I'm not interested in slicing and dicing the other Republicans. That's what they want us to do. I believe in Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak negatively about a fellow Republican. I respect all of them in the race. Some of them are quite good policy wonks. And Dennis, when and if I'm lucky enough to become mayor, I'll make them part of my staff and part of my cabinet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, governor. I'll make them part of my
Right.
staff and part of my cabinet.
So what is are you going to be traveling the state? What are you going to do?
I'm traveling as we speak. I'm on my way to Norwalk to file papers. I'm going up to Oakland. I'm going up to the Bay Area. I'm going down to San Diego. I'm going to the border. I'm going up further north so I can look at what's going on with our water supply. I interviewed Bill Jones. He's the last, in my opinion, true conservative ever to win a statewide race here in California as a Republican. Third-generation farmer. His family, they even named aqueducts after Jones because they were the last ones to build anything new in this state. This state has a water infrastructure that's built for a population half this size. They're not planning for the future. And I want to talk to some of the farmers up there who are angry about the fact that when it does rain, much of the water is not captured because we haven't built a sufficient underground storage tanks to do that. So I'm getting on top of all these issues, Dennis. This is a big state. 58 counties. Every county has its own personality, its own culture, and I'm trying to listen to people so I can be a better governor if and when I'm lucky enough to.
We got to take a break. Where do people go to help you?
ElectElder.com. ElectElder.com. Real simple. No dots. ElectElder.com.
I'm going there right after we speak. ElectElder.com. He's sacrificing a lot. It's a tough thing to do this, but it's rare you get a great man. That's the chance we have in California.